Hello, my name is Sam, and I'd like to introduce you to GameMaker. GameMaker by Yo-Yo Games is a powerful tool that allows anyone with any level of experience to make their very own games. Though it's easy to learn, there's a lot to learn, so let's first talk about how GameMaker works. Games made in GameMaker take place in at least one room. A room is a two-dimensional space of a given size. Inside of a room, objects are placed. Objects can be just about anything, from the characters that move and react. They could be the walls those characters collide with. They can control graphical elements that display a score or text. They're what make our game interactable and alive. GameMaker uses a variety of resources. Sprites are images that are used to represent objects. They can be a single image or an animated image. Sounds are the audio clips that are played for the game's sound effects and background music. Backgrounds are images used like a wallpaper for the background of a room. Paths are shapes used for movement along a route. Scripts are pieces of code that is executed to provide a specific result or calculation. Shaders are special programs used to manipulate a game's graphics for special effects. Fonts are used to draw text in-game. Timelines are used as a schedule to make sure objects performed an action at specific times. Objects contain all the logic needed to make a game function and are probably the most important GameMaker resource. Rooms are the space in which your game occupies. Included files are files that your game needs to use when exported to its target platform. Extensions are used to expand functionality to GameMaker through the use of other programming languages. And constants are predefined words that represent a value that can only be changed and set during the development of your game. It's probably easier to learn by example. If you don't have GameMaker already, head to yoyogames.com to download it. Open it up and start a new project. It's not important what you name this project. I called mine Hello GameMaker. For this small example, we're going to create an object, give it a sprite to give the object visual representation, then place it inside of a room. It won't have any functionality yet, but it's about the bare minimum to get GameMaker running. Along the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the resource tree. This is where all of the resources of your games are stored. This should sound familiar. First, we're going to create a sprite. Right-click on the folder named Sprite in the resource tree. Click Create Sprite. A window pops up with the properties for the newly created sprite. Let's give it an image. Click on Load Sprite and find the image of the robot you can download from the link in the description to this video. The image of the robot should appear on the right side of the Sprite Properties window. Let's give it a name to identify the sprite. It's important to name your resource as well, so you don't confuse one resource for another when referencing it in code. I like to give each resource its own prefix. Since this is a sprite, let's call it SPR_robot. Click OK to close the sprite. Next, we're going to create an object. Right-click on the folder named Objects in the resource tree. Click Create Object. A window pops up with the properties for the newly created object. There's a lot to see and do here, but to keep things simple, let's just give it a sprite to represent it. Just under Name, you'll see a drop-down button to select a sprite. Click it, then select SPR_robot. Now let's give it a name. Since this is an object, let's call it OBJ_robot. Click OK to close the object. Lastly, we need to create a room for our robot. Right-click on the folder named Rooms in the resource tree. Click Create Room. A window pops up with the properties for the newly created room. Click on the Settings tab on the left. Here you can set the size of the room and give it a name. My room is set to 800 pixels wide and 600 pixels tall. While we're here, let's give it a name. Since this is a room, let's call it RM_game. Now click on the Objects tab. If you look down a bit, you'll see a drop-down box labeled Object to Add with left mouse. Click the drop-down button, select OBJ_robot. And then click anywhere inside the room on the right to place the robot into the room. After that, click the green check mark in the upper left of the room's window to save your room's changes. We're now ready to test our game. Press F5 or click on the green arrow at the top toolbar. Our game will compile and run. A window opens with the dimensions of our room and shows us the sprite of the object we created wherever we placed it in the room. It's not exactly a game, but it demonstrates how quickly and easily GameMaker can have something up and running with just a few clicks. That about sums up our brief GameMaker introduction. There is so much more to learn for this deeply effective software. I'll be going over various topics in the future, along with tutorials made for GameMaker users of all levels. If you want to keep up, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.